All right, thank you. We got the Energy Committee meeting, December 20th, 2023, 7 o'clock. We're at Memorial Hall. In attendance, we have Michael Brown and Teresa Moore. We absent today, we have Kathy Thompson. Kathy was preparing the minutes for this meeting. The time for the start of the meeting would be 7:12. She was preparing the minutes for the meeting, so we'll have to we'll pass that item on the agenda. We'll look at those next time. Next item on the agenda was to discuss the news release we had prepared for the Green Community Grant Program funds that we received. Michael had prepared some edits out of after my first release, my first shot at that. We have the edits. Actually, you know, I had my original version that I printed out. I had stuck in some things that I wanted to include in that, but I like the version that Mike created, and because of that, I have read it, and you obviously created it. I like your version. The only edits that I had in that was to change the emissions reduction achieved. We agreed when we set off to do a news release that we would use on a publication only information that we could back up from the grant program's data. And in 2023, our emissions reduction achieved since 2010 was 23.2%. Having just completed an annual report, the new emissions figure is 17%. In other words, we're creating more emissions now than we were. You know, that's in the last year, for example, from last year to this year, we have 5% more emissions, where we had reduced 23% before. Now we're reducing to only 17%. We can discuss that separately, you know, later on. But I have researched what happened, and it would be interesting discussion when we get to it. Other than making that change, I'll read it one more time, but I think I like Michael's version. I would like to turn that into Eric as our release. There's only two of us here, but we will vote. I vote to submit this copy. You know, this version adapted with the 17% emissions. That's the only change that I see making to it. And to submit to Eric. Would you agree, Mike?
Yes.
That was easy. Holy, I hope they all go like that. They're not going to. Yes, Vern approved. Both of us. With the next, we had the Energy Master Plan Development Subcommittee. Next steps. We're going to discuss. I had taken a quick swing at creating goals, but it wasn't really a quick swing, was it? Over the last couple of years, we've been messing around with a set of goals. I came up with the idea, the concept of you know, I think what was throwing us off before is the goals we were looking at were entirely Shirley's. and not ours. I mean, it happens that the goals are about the same one way or another, but I couldn't see just copying what they did and submitting that. The other was that the number of years have passed since Shirley did theirs. And now, after over the last 10 years, we've come up with these concepts of decarbonization and carbonization and stuff like that I thought we could apply. So I took a swing at it to try to bring it down. And Mike did extensive work editing. And, he did just as good a job. Part of my dinner's on the thing. You see where I wasn't.
By the way, if anybody I have hard copies.
I did copy it too.
Either.
Now let's see. Well, the change, there are elements of this that I think we could talk about in terms of what the overall goal that I had was, and that was to try to come down to a focused goal, which is basically decarbonization. And you can't decarbonize, but replace it, and you're going to replace it with electric, of course. But I'd like to try to preserve some of that in what we do with this. And I think we could look at this paragraph by paragraph and maybe achieve most of that. Okay?
So even though I've gone through this and made suggested changes, I want to just make sure I still understand, where is this going?
Exactly.
What are we writing this for?
We're gonna right.
Before I go any farther.
Let's agree, because it's part of the agenda. To change the order of the agenda, you have to agree. So let's agree to change the order of the agenda to get to the next topic on the agenda, which is discuss how to complete the process. That's really what we're looking at, right? Okay, energy goals to a master plan. How do you go from energy goals to a master plan? Putting goals aside. This isn't necessarily in its final form either. How to process. How to complete the process. See, I don't know whether if basically, Teresa, this is important because I'm glad you're here. Because we previously, you recall Brent's version of this thing was very formal and had us getting a bunch of people, individuals from different committees together to make a separate subcommittee, and they have their meetings and stuff. We decided that was too complicated, and that we were afraid we wouldn't get enough people and all that. So Ed took a look at it, and I still call that the Ed version.
Yeah.
The Ed idea is to work from a set of goals that we present, that the Energy Committee presents to the board. If the board signs on, you would say, this is a good set of goals, good idea. You would send that set of goals with instructions to the boards and departments and committees. And they would look at those goals and having developed an understanding of them, look at their part of the master plan and see where their pieces of the master plan apply to those goals, and figure out where their piece of the master plan might be improved or enhanced to include the energy goals. There are elements of that in the master plan already. There are places where they've done that, but this is a method that they know what their opportunities are for their particular, the fire department knows what his opportunities are to save energy, and the planning board might be able to foresee things that they could do while they're handling their normal work. So hopefully it guides people to making, to looking at their portion of the master plan, each group, as something that they should be thinking about as
Right.
as they work.
So that's,
The goals list would end up as an addendum to the master plan. In other words, it's at the end. It's there as a one of the guiding principles of the master.
the way that I understand it, it's the master plan committee that makes the final decision. And they might decide it makes more sense to put it on the front and say, here is the energy committee goal, and then say, this, you know, and then the police has it, and then it would say, you know, see page 1, or it might make sense to put it there. But that would be their decision, and then they would present it to us, and we would have the final say.
And how to proceed from there. I mean, whether you have, public hearings or a public, comment period, or how you engage the public, the broader public, before you go to a town meeting. Are things that Brent tried to include in that plan. Whereas it may be more appropriately, we give you a set of goals and we're done.
Yeah.
You and the planning board decide how to include it into the, master plan.
Yeah, the master planning board should be having, open hearings on what they have in there. But those are all part of their meetings like this. So it's not like a separate meeting to go over. These are all considered open meetings. So it's the thought processes. If you have an opinion on what should be in the energy master plan, then you should be coming to this meeting and doing it. If you should have an opinion what to be in the complete master plan, which will include the energy master plan, you involved in that meeting, then we'll go over it as a selecting meeting. People will get more involved there because they'll watch it on television. Then we'll go over it finally at town hall meeting when it's voted on, and then you get a lot of it.
Okay, so there's a process already established.
Yeah.
Do we need to get involved in that process? Where do we need to be involved in that process?
Keep holding your meetings until you're ready to present it to the master planning committee, and then that's it, your end of your process.
Okay, so what I had drawn out here was a proposal to for us to create the goals.
Mhm.
And submit, and we would vote on that, approving that goal, the set of goals. And it's really an initial set of goals, because I'm expecting there may be other inputs, other people may have other ideas, and that sort of thing. So
So
development.
this is the goals we'd like to submit to the master planning committee to submit to as part of the energy committee's master plan. Is that correct? Did I say that right?
Well, I have not seen the master plan, or whether there's existing appendices, or how it's formatted. But have I provided you with enough description of what I think is going to happen? And Teresa's really told us what's going to happen next.
Right.
Does that tell you how it goes? Because I don't know where it resides. Whether it's whether the planning, the people responsible for the master plan might decide to put it at the front, or might put it at the back, or might decide to say, okay, this is okay. This is going to be the energy committee's part of the master.
So we're formulating what we think would be goals of the town that are related to energy, conserving energy, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah.
We'll refine that, presumably. You gave it a great start. But once we decide that this is what we think is the best version, then we'll submit, here are some suggested, goals.
The
And
idea
then
is,
in the
the
planning
idea,
committee,
the
based
idea is that there is an initial round before we make a formal recommendation, a final recommendation of what should go into the master plan to the Board of Selectmen. The first round is to get opinions and stuff from people, get feedback.
From the master plan committee. That's my understanding.
Yeah.
Either the planning board or the master plan committee, they're a part of each other, so.
I have read the parts of the master plan. I don't know how I found them, but somewhere I found the parts of the master plan that had to do with energy. I said, okay, there's stuff here, but I wonder what else there could be. And we're dealing with the future. We're dealing with where we're going, not, where we are, but that's really where we're going. And that is, with the massive. Anyway, I had prepared this thing to try to show the concept of how this could develop. Now, and I wasn't sure whether we needed to provide a document to the Board of Selectmen that says, this is what happens next, this is what happens next. What I really want to make sure happens is that we not go crazy with our initial set. We're going from a rough draft, an early draft, to a fairly advanced draft, I think now with our goals, that we could submit to the
Yeah, let me follow up,
so-
whether the next people you meet with is the planning committee or you meet directly with the subcommittee, which is the master planning committee.
they're part of the planning board.
No,
So they actually are
Right.
active, they
I
regularly?
don't think they do.
see
So that's what I want to make sure. And I think you can just say, this is really, really early stage, but get really good guidance from them on what make sure you.
From the work that Ed did and what we've done, I don't know what else you could put in it, because
No,
there's
I don't think- I
already,
think
there are already elements of redundancy that I put in my own writing, so I
Yeah.
gotta, pull that
Maybe
stuff up.
it's just.
That's what we're doing tonight.
Yeah, maybe it's just I have the conversation with them too. I don't even know if we need to meet with them, but just make sure I have the steps right, and then we'll go back to you.
I think we might, after this meeting, I would like to be able to put into your hands a rough draft that you could show to the planning board, whoever
Okay, I can do
you think of, and say, this is the gist of what we're doing, and how would you proceed? Get some feedback.
And I can bring it to the select meeting on the 6th and say, what are our next steps? So that's how we'll do it, the 7th, whenever.
Okay.
But that's what we will do.
Excellent.
Okay.
So for that item on our agenda, I am just putting that aside, to set aside.
So we're gonna review this draft.
Okay, so it's paragraph by paragraph.
Looking at my red line?
Yeah. Massachusetts, great. Get rid of all those words that you got it read. We're changing to the about 23.2 to 17.
Okay, can we back up?
Pardon me?
Can we back up?
Yep.
How can we, as a town, monitor waste of, all town, it says town buildings. I think it says, it has to say town, municipal buildings.
That's what I meant, but maybe
But
just.
town, to me, a town building
Oh,
is a
any
private
building in
home.
town.
It's
Oh,
any building in town.
Yeah,
right?
originally, well, the way
The public, you're right, I don't like public, but. I
Ron
think
wrote it as towns and public buildings, but I thought that, anyway,
Yeah.
municipal buildings, schools is like a separate, so I think.
Excellent. Thank you. Municipal buildings.
The way it read to me, it's
And
a
it-
building.
And I'm not,
Right.
and MEI actually gave me 17.02%. I'm just gonna call that 17%. It's a 0.02 is ridiculous.
That precise.
Yeah, it can't be that precise anyway. Next paragraph. I like the reductions made there, and I got rid of the and mirrors before I saw it. I like Townsend supports the federal and Massachusetts goals,
Mhm.
just straight through.
Yeah, that's simple. So,
Goals of reducing our climate changing emissions 30% by 2023 and to net zero. Okay.
so are we just not to put too much of a fine point on it, but are we saying, do you see us as saying we as a town want to also reduce by those amounts, or we're just going to make our own little local contribution to the national and state goals? That's what I thought.
Yeah, I think that's what it is.
We're not going to really necessarily be net zero by 2050. That might be a national.
Doing unfair.
Oh, I think this, you just support those goals. What we've done is saying we haven't said we're gonna go to zero. We say we're gonna go almost to net zero. Net zero is, you're gonna have some carbon.
Yeah.
But, I think the goals have to be the goals. Townsend supports the federal and Massachusetts goals of reducing our climate change emissions 30% by 2030 and to net zero by 2050. How would you rather say that?
No, I think that's fine. That we support those goals.
Okay, right. Okay, town seeks to make constant progress toward towards this reduction.
Yeah, I figured you don't want to say that your goal is to make progress towards a goal, It's kind of a circular.
Town seeks, well, the idea was to put in that element of urgency, because what I see is people, when it takes 2 years to finish one of these things, when you put your light bulbs in school, I mean, what the heck is that?
Right.
So I'm trying to tell people, you have to put a fire under yourself, because no one else is going to. Every one of us has to, I don't know if the urgency, is the right word, but I wanted to put some idea that we're trying to do this expeditiously. It's not a take a time thing. Of course, it's taken us 2 years to do this.
Right.
So, but we've seen changes in the meantime. So, town, the way you want to do it, town seeks to make constant progress towards this reduction.
Yeah, I don't know. We could put in something to emphasize sort of urgency or
I
doing it quickly, as quickly as feasible.
I originally said, well, the time frames may seem long. They do, 2050, I'll be dead by it.
Well, 2030 is that.
There is an element of urgency to make constant progress towards these goals. I would like to stay with that.
Yeah, I don't oppose it. Part of my editing is just my habit of, in my job, I often review other people's reports.
Yeah, I can see that.
And then I just,
I wish I
make
had
it
you
simple.
review a lot of my stuff. You're doing a great job of it. All right, so, I think the idea there was to try to stick that element of urgency, because it just doesn't appear anywhere else,
Yeah. Well, you want to have that if we said the town seeks to make constant progress towards these reductions. Recognizing the urgency, something like that, the urgency of.
you could skip out the time frame thing altogether. Just say there is an element of urgency to make constant progress towards these goals, just straight up.
Mm-hmm.
skip the timeframes part.
Yeah. I'm fine with that. Yeah, the deletion. Right?
Next paragraph, that, yeah, I think first of all, I would like to get the efficiency paragraph back to the first. I think you suggested that would work. And I think we should call it efficiency first. Efficiency first is an actual strategy.
Mm-hmm.
And,
Yeah, we could use that term.
efficiency first. And it's catchy, people remember it. I went to, with the 300 other guys, I went to, Washington. When was that? No, gotta be 15, 20 years ago now. The efficiency first organization, there was an organization, was supporting some legislation, to get the country to do something like the Mass Save program. And there was money, but the senator decided that, there was already enough going to energy efficiency, because that's all the energy efficiency program for people who can't afford to do anything. They can get a free refrigerator, the house put stuff on there, and, you know, anyway. So efficiency first.
So I moved that to the front of the other decarbonization. That would be it.
Did we say public buildings here? We say municipal buildings here.
Where are we?
Efficiency
Oh,
paragraph.
oh, I see.
Should that be municipal also?
Uh, is public buildings more general because we want to include schools? But
Yeah. Okay. Well, if it can be included, truthfully, okay. Okay. So we'll practice and preach energy, practice and preach efficiency first. In the next sentence, from Townsend will continue through in their own homes. We'll adopt that. Okay.
Mhm.
And I guess we're going back to, that is now one. We go back to the decarbonization. I ended up breaking up decarbonization and electrification. You may talk me out of it. Okay, so for decarbonization,
So here's my 2 cents. So you know we're going towards community aggregation, right?
right?
In which community aggregation, we have this opportunity to get what they call and let's see, it's on class one, which is, and it's, energy, renewable energy.
A higher
And-
proportion of renewables versus,
Right.
Okay.
Now, it's more expensive than the cheaper version, but our goal as a town, I'd like to set a goal as a town that 10% of our townspeople volunteer. I think that's reasonable. Or 10% in new construction, something that 10% get. You know, I think personally, I think 10% people don't do it.
I think more than 10% of people, I
But I think we could put it in-
people can afford it. The people who can't afford to do it, there's a lot of people who can't afford it.
Right.
I
Probably
think,
depends on.
I think I did that, was that, what was that company that does it? Next Stamp? So I signed up for that, and that should save maybe 10%, no? And then I'll do this with, and I'll use 10%, so I won't get the savings in dollars, but I will make a larger contribution.
So I'm thinking maybe we could write something about,
So what, I remember that with community aggregation, every person, who participates in that is gonna have a choice of what mix they want. There's gonna be
Yeah.
several choices.
Right.
So what is that?
that mix is called MA class one, which is the best way to spread and stuff for renewable energy in the.
So that's presumably the most.
It depends on how much more it does cost. I'm hoping, my solar will offset, that, so, one way or another, I won't spend more money.
So, in other words, in this, we can just put this as a separate item, or?
I thought maybe it would fit in one of these goal items that we also have, because we're offering this to the citizens, right?
All right, so let's discuss that under topics,
Okay.
because it's something that it really sounds valuable, but I had other questions concerning that type of thing
Okay.
for us. All right, so we're the decarbonization. I broke it down into two different things in my second swing here. Um, I'll put that's good. Okay, so I'm going to take what you wrote for decarbonization as number one, and what you wrote for electrification is number two. Oh, wait a minute. This is number two. Decarbonization is two. Electrification is three, and that was one. All right, next paragraph is currently numbered three. We're going to call it four. And I just added the word departments, town departments, boards, and committees. Okay,
Yeah.
and that's all. Yeah. Number four becomes number five. And you suggest leverage green community and this is possible. We'll adopt that as five. Five becomes six. Six becomes seven. Oh, apparently I'm. electrification. We're gonna just kind of go at the definition of electrification a little bit different. Electrification, we're going to present electrification as an action thing rather than, defining what it is. I think we did that with decarbonization. So we said we will continue to pursue decarbonization, the process of reducing. Electrification, I would say is the electrification is the expedited replacement. Skip the eventual, so expedited replacement of fossil fuel intensive heating and inefficient and heating and cooling systems. Okay, yep. Vehicles and other equipment.
So then we define applications, and then we can say, the town will implement electrification, then replacing.
Something like that, yeah. That's what I'm trying to come up with.
If feasible, so.
Let's actually write that out, Mike.
It wouldn't help if well,
Pardon?
I was gonna say, would it help if we asked to share my screen and everybody?
Yeah, but we haven't got that actually running.
Well, we can see over there. I can try to bring it up on one time.
The idea was to be able everybody to be able to see his screen, at the same time.
You'll be able to see it on our, if you care.
Okay.
Let me try one more time.
Well, if I just ask, Dave,
Hey,
Yes, Michael, you
Okay.
want yours to be the share?
yeah, is that?
Share Mike's screen, yes.
Okay, 1 second.
Do I have to press share or anything?
No, hang on, I'll tell you. Okay, go ahead and try and share now, Ron, Mike.
Yeah, I have to remind myself where that is.
Bottom of the screen, it should have a share
On
screen.
the bottom of the screen, I see it. Share screen, got it. Yeah. So, share my screen. Then I'll go back to the document as soon as after that. Oh, share. Okay, how's that? Is that working? Yeah.
Yes, thank you. All right.
Okay, so we're on electrification.
All right, so I wanted the electrification one to read sort of like the decarbonization one does. You know what I mean? They're flowing differently.
Okay, so let's see, you want to say something like Townsend will implement electrification. And then get into what electrification is, and then after that, we can say this could be done, when major equipment such as heating systems or whatever we want to say are replaced. So I'll try to
Go back and read that. I don't know if it's-
How about for the second sentence? The opportunities for electrification will be explored whenever put in place. I don't know what kind of, want to say, immediately.
I think I just came up with a fairly simple one. I
Okay.
didn't hear that. Let's try this. Electrification. It's just like a head. One word, right? Electrification. Fossil fuel intensive heating equipment and inefficient cooling systems, vehicles, and other equipment will be replaced with more efficient electrical options whenever possible.
Okay. I'll go slower. I'll
Right.
write it down.
Fossil fuel intensive heating
Uh-huh.
and inefficient cooling systems, vehicles, and other equipment will be replaced with more efficient electrical options whenever possible. I think I missed something. Yeah, electrical. Okay.
Where does propane fit in that? I'm just curious. Where does propane fit in that?
Propane. That's a polluting gas. It's almost as bad as oil. It's kind of between oil is bad, coal is worse. Then
Similar to natural gas, right?
then propane and then natural gas. Natural gas is cleaner than propane, but propane is a petroleum product. All right. We got when we got 4 and 5 done, 6 and 7 are done. No, 7 becomes 8, and that is an exact copy. Seems like an exact copy of. Yeah, that's a copy of the.
Some reason I'm not getting into number electrification first.
Oh, I added
Figure
them
that
late.
out.
I added them after last time. Yeah. 8. I'm going to say optimize energy usage and cost savings. And use renewables to obtain that goal whenever possible. Use renewables to obtain that goal. Like that. Okay, 9 used to be 8. So that's good. The one that has on this sheet, my old sheet, the one that starts Townsend should.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay, we don't mention solar anywhere near a wind power. We refer to that stuff as renewables.
Yes.
And I'm okay with that for now. Maybe someone else will, come up with that. Yeah, I had made a note earlier that this electrification paragraph is so similar to 10 that we, gotta consider them together. But it's not running that way anymore because of the way we changed 10. This is source rather than, usage. Okay. All right. So 10 is okay. The next one, it used to be 10, is 11. Maintain green community as established. That is exactly verbatim what Shirley was.
Mhm.
And I don't mind that, but I would like to consider instead the words continue supporting the Green Communities Grant Program by maintaining a green community as established by that. And then the next sentence, continuously search for new assistance programs. Okay?
Okay.
Yeah, that's a little more specific. When you say, continued support, you mean maybe continue participating in or benefiting
We
from?
could say
In
participate.
other words, the idea isn't for us to support I guess in a way, we're supporting the program, but we want them to support, that program to support us.
Yeah, participation.
Yeah. So we said continue, we'll say participating in.
Well, really the support that we provide the program is the details. There are
We give them
tons
information.
and tons and tons of inputs.
Yeah.
I mean, every bill, every meter, every gas tank, it's just,
Sort of supporting the data collection.
well, we supported the data. Continually search for new assistance programs. We applied for stuff last spring that we didn't get, so that was just assistance figuring it out.
Yeah, I must say I was surprised when I saw the numbers that you had gotten that we did really well. Like, they didn't give that, most towns didn't get it. Or maybe they didn't apply, but they weren't ready or whatever. You got a big chunk of all of the funds that were distributed.
I was a little bit incredulous because we were short of time. We ended up adopting what Rise told us that they made a recommendation, and we adopted it except for the correction we had to make. But I was skeptical. I mean, why would you go for the total instead of going to the maximum, savings? We just made it by this much. I don't know. So,
So what were we thinking? What were you thinking the wording would be? Continue participating in and
participating in the
supporting
green communities,
community program?
green communities grant program by maintaining the green community as established. And then the next sentence, continuously search for new assistance.
Maintaining what counts in the status of the green community? Is that what you meant to say?
No, maintaining a green community. Green community is defined in that MGL. So we're maintaining the status of MGL.
Okay. Maintaining a green community established. Listen to that, and then what else?
Continuously search for new assistance.
For what? For energy conservation, decarbonization, and similar endeavors.
I guess you could say program assistance. What they have consultants that's what we're looking for is we want to prioritize, and not just me, Ron, saying it, have some expert telling us this is the reason why you got to do this building first, and help us with that. And what things, within each building should be done. That's the kind of help that is available, but we didn't get it last time because it was too popular. All right, number 12. This gets into very specifically what we're looking for from the departments and so forth. It says review master plan department operations, committee oversight. I'm not sure whether the word oversight is the correct word or not. But committee oversight and towns and bylaws and laws. to identify potential, and, oh, you worked from the negative, I did a positive. I rewrote that from, instead of saying, starting negative, I decided to do it positive. Okay, and mine now says this, which you can, I'm not sure if oversight is right, but
Possible ways the town can encourage versus impede local and regional production. Yeah, I like that.
okay, you can copy that if you want.
Yeah, I might
I'll send
say,
it to you.
instead of just saying like versus impede, and maybe after, I think you could say something like,
Mark it up.
yeah, I'll just do it on the, right.
It's after 8 o'clock, okay, Mike?
Yeah. See how it is, yeah. Get the gist of it.
I think this encourage.
Oh, we haven't put in, anything about the, aggregation, right? See where that would fit in. What are we really saying we want to do as far as the aggregation? I mean, we hope that as many people as possible pick the most renewable, the highest renewable.
That's good. All right, and I missed one. Back on 67. We'll see what it's actually numbered now. There are two that both the training. Yeah, that offer information. I think they are
Oh,
redundant. We can eliminate five, I believe. You can vote.
Yeah, that's true.
Pentagon copy, there it is. Delete. Used to be six. All right, so really all we need to do is make sure that you've got this on, yours is the master copy.
That's-
So, um, just going back to the beginning, what we had, we're gonna make this a permanent copy now, okay? That
Okay.
work for you?
Yeah.
All right, so we changed that to municipal, you did it already. It's 17%, not 20, you gotta get rid of the 23.2.
Yeah, it's crossed out. I could just make it,
Oh, you're gonna do
Make
that
it
later,
clean.
okay? All right,
yeah, well, we
so-
could even just view it without all the markups. I don't know if it's easier to see what we changed, or you just want to see it as is.
I see that.
See, I could do like no markup. That's how that would.
Now, if I knew about that button on my computer, I would probably.
It's still there, but
Yeah, okay.
eventually I'll. get rid of it.
17%, that's good. And then overall goal. What's that, let's give it, the decarbonization is separate. And good, electrification.
Can't figure out why I can't get it to number three. So no, boy, that was I'm trying. I bring it there, and yeah. Well, that should be number three.
Okay, and we had the efficiency one. I don't know where it went.
Oh, that was, I thought that was at the very beginning,
Oh, right, was that at the beginning? Can you go back?
number
Okay.
one.
Well, okay, right, okay, down more, and the fourth one would be the town department boards. Good, next one, leverage. Now, the next one will be offer information to citizens. And then we've got optimize energy usage and cost. So, whenever possible. Recognize. Next one. Should develop. And continue to participate in and supporting. So, excellent, that's fine. Review master plan, private operations. Is committee oversight the right word to use now? So, that was used in a description of our committee, but practices. This is
Oh.
spelling, it's a typo. Right. Well, that's it. Nice. All right, so if you could, just print that,
Mhm.
And that'll take the next.
over to me, and, please. Now, the next thing was, discussing how to, complete the process, which we,
That's on the.
Teresa's handling that for now.
Listening meeting, make sure I know. I'm gonna first go to Eric, see if I go to the planning board first, but then I'm gonna also bring it to the.
If you could, send a set of this, why don't you label it at the top,
Yeah.
initial, early set or something like that, gold. And, get that to Teresa, so you can just basically run it by people without giving them copies, because it's not final yet, you know what I mean?
Right, I understand.
Yeah, I'll do this after the meeting.
Yeah.
No worries.
Just,
Okay, topics not reasonably expected by chair 48 hours before the meeting.
Okay, two topics. The annual town report, which we usually write a little blurb, no more than a paragraph. We're looking for something from the energy committee,
For what?
the annual town report.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Did we do one last year?
No, I'm not sure if we did.
Well, send me the copy, the report you had last year, I'll add the copy.
probably a lot of that stuff like that. The thing we were writing, you wrote and I edited on, about the committee, something.
The history of the
So we
committee?
could
Yeah,
take it from that.
yeah. the
Maybe we
history of
don't
the
need
committee.
all that.
So you're gonna ask me about that.
Right. What is it? You as the chairman can't bring it up. I mean, I'll bring it up.
It's not on the agenda, and if we get into it, better. That is the problem. I had intended to include it on the agenda, because the news release.
Oh, that was.
News release too.
Then. But,
She's gonna see if she has the written copy that was sent, if we edited it. Mhm.
News release went, what went?
You didn't see that we submitted it last year.
Right, so I wouldn't know anything about it, I haven't done one before.
I can't remember this coming up.
No, they want one this year. So,
What, have you got, this is one from 2022, got one from 2021, or Brent had to do the last one, or someone.
so they're really,
I didn't know what it looks like, so what do we?
So,
So give you the history of the, give you a page that's the history of the energy committee?
I was actually, that may answer the question of what are we gonna do with the short history of the energy committee that we're writing up.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that would be like perfect, so here's an example. Let me just look it out of the book.
I haven't actually proofread this yet, because, well, I know how now, I just opened this up, and there's buttons there to quit the red stuff.
Yeah. Well, that button that I showed you just makes it not visible, but the editor's still in there. You can toggle back and forth between seeing the changes or just seeing it clean. Ultimately, when I make it clean, I will accept all changes and then it's a clean document.
This is a short history of the energy
That's
committee.
perfect. That's, we're perfect, that would work perfect.
Okay, but we're gonna edit it.
Okay.
We're gonna use your version. We're gonna use Mike's version, and it's gonna change the data.
Oh, right. 17.
Yeah, I think there's more than one place.
Yeah. I think
There's only one place on this.
we searched for the number 23.
Oh, yeah.
like what people submit, that's a real short one, and then the back one is another real. But you can make them as long as you want, the library has like a 5-page.
Current
one.
members, our address is here.
So that's just, you know, an idea of what people put in. But what you have there will be perfect. The only thing you need to know, it's due to Sabrina by, what's the date again? I gotta be with the date. It's due, because it prints out and it goes out booklet at the town meeting. It's due, oh, it has to be submitted in Times New Roman.
Okay,
Font size 12.
Times New Roman 12. I'll just do
And it
that.
goes to
I can vet it. If you want.
Sabrina Moore
Times
at-
New.
by Friday, January 26th.
Oh, that's. But,
I didn't say it was soon. Disagree.
New Roman 12. It's funny, in my work, we always use time.
All right, that was one
Oh, I
thing.
never noticed.
You said you had a
they
couple
got
of-
all in the same pot.
You had a couple things.
The second one is there have been 2 or 3 complaints that I heard, and the other one, and also had a complaint, is new lighting put up at Deluxe. And I guess it's like Starlock 13 thing there.
At
Well-
at where?
Deluxe that's in Townsend Harbor. They've always had bad lighting, so I don't know if it's new or,
Oh, okay.
I mean, it may be new, you know,
Okay, well,
but
it's gotten worse.
Well, I was on my list, as you know, I identified some businesses with non-conforming lighting, that was on the list, and our former building commissioner refused to enforce.
Okay, so that's one. So we do have an interim building commission, so maybe we can get.
So
them
what,
on.
what's the location of the complaint? I just wanted, for my,
Townsend Harbor,
Deluxe
in
Corporation,
Phillips.
I
And
mean.
we're also interviewing a part-time building inspector
Mhm.
as well, so maybe that will.
Well, when you interview, does it come up like this? In terms
I
of
know,
ask-
I
ask them-
should ask
I mean,
him.
whether that specific bylaw or in general, like, if people complain about non-conforming to the bylaw, how do you feel about enforcing it? 'Cause-
I should, when it comes through. Okay, so those were the 2 things I had.
okay. Well, I had a question for you.
Okay.
That short history.
Yeah.
Is there a place where we can like publish that? I mean,
That
would
goes
get-
in this publication and everybody.
That's the only
in
place,
town gets it.
the only place it goes. Okay,
No.
so I was wondering if there's an internet place where.
Yeah, so you have, I can show you. Dave, can I share my? Oh, I'm not on Zoom. Can I share? You still sharing?
I'm sharing.
Dave, you
I can
still,
stop.
you okay on time?
Oh,
David?
So we have our own. Page somewhere, sorry, Mike.
that's okay. I mean, I guess the Townsend Energy, there's a link to Townsend Energy.
You know, we don't really have to take time in the meeting for it right now. If you could just let me know how I
Well,
do that later.
So
Yeah,
you
if-
know when you go to get your. Why can I get there? Where you go to get your link to get it onto your Zoom, meeting, you know, you go to Townsend,
Calendar.
right, the calendar.
Oh, yeah.
So it's right. Oh, there. I'm having trouble with, this is a map.
No.
Oh, I'm having trouble with it.
Look at the lighting.
You and my husband, he's
You can also see my solar production. It's very low at this time of year. That
At
left
least you
tab
can
is
get
my,
some.
is my
We can't-
shoulder.
We couldn't even, they did test at our house, we couldn't even get it.
No, it's very inefficient, but still working.
So under here. let's see.
Departments, oh, boards and committees, like, you're in, yeah, kind of top center a little bit to the right, you're in departments, but you want boards.
Oh,
There you go. So,
okay. All you have to do is submit anything that you want under here. You can have pictures put here, you can have calendars put here, you can have all sorts of write-ups, you can have news announcements added to your page.
And how do we do that? We who do that?
Just send it, we have a, here that, his name, but just send it to Eric and Eric.
Eric does it, okay?
Yeah, but like all your minutes are on here. We automatically put your minutes and stuff on here.
Mhm.
But if you want, you can see how much blank space there is on this page. So if you wanted to add photos, you wanted to add links, you wanted to add anything to this page, you could.
Like
A lot of people put, links over here, like you already do have some, like the Green Committees Act or
I
whatever.
don't even know, I don't know how those got there, but that's okay.
Any, like any of these type of links. So any type of link you want to add, anything you want to add, any type of photo, that's your page. You can add anything you want to that. Okay,
Good, that works, thank you.
you're welcome.
right, so anything else on the short history?
Well, the short history thing didn't make the agenda. And it is something that we want to edit. But I've read your version and I think it works very well for me. We do have to, adjust that emissions amount, 17% instead of 22. And I believe it's in, we would have done that everywhere. All right, so you okay with me taking your version and getting that up on, try to see what we can do to get this up on the webpage? That'll be there before you get it. You all right with that?
Yeah,
Okay. Next version.
and the other, yeah, we're gonna discuss, so do we have any idea why our emissions increased between 2022 and 2023? Apparently it was now reduced by
You know,
17%.
it's always a enlightening when I get into that MEI thing. Boy, MEI data has gas and diesel broken out, and I suspected that it was going to be gas and diesel because the buildings don't change that drastically.
Mhm.
Yeah, we had a 23% reduction of greenhouse gases. We'd achieved that by the end of 2022, but our achievement dropped down to 17% in 2023. And going through the departments and stuff with MEI, I did find that the various departments had different levels of usage of gas. And I suspected the water department was the big one, but the water department didn't change. It was a little bit of an increase in the fire department and a much larger increase in the public works. Now, in the public works, for example, it'd be like 1,000 gallons. Instead of 4,000, we used 5,000 gallons of diesel. So there maybe have been a project or more snow or, there's got to be a reason for it. But what surprised me is how easily that 23% got upset.
Mhm.
It only took one thing, and I don't know if we should look further into it. Because we want to create a consciousness in the minds of people who
Yeah.
use the fuel. I mean, they can't help it. They got a job to do, and I'm not blaming them or giving them any black marks or anything. But we all need to be aware that when you get an opportunity to take a truck that uses tons of fuel and you use less or use electricity instead, then it's a pretty good deal. I mean, it's something that
Yeah, I
really,
know our snow budget was big last year, so, and it was big because not for snow removal, but for ice. Like laying down sand cost a lot of more. And I'm wondering if, like, it takes more energy, like, to lay down sand too, than to push snow. You know what I mean?
Oh, no.
Just it had to be done a lot. So
Right,
it's a lot of
yeah.
back and forth.
But a lot of back and forth, things like that,
but
we
it
might be able to
becomes
like that.
another factor. I'm sure the DPU, he knows how much fuel he's using, he knows, and all that. He's got his budgets under control. But there's that element, if it is snow, you don't know. I thought it might be the water department because they have this construction going on. And I thought maybe, they're working on it, but it's not.
Interesting.
Do you think that we should be coming up with a way of communicating to the department? Because I'm not sure whether he has that
What's new
information.
and exciting?
The MEI information that tells them how much fuel they're using, it's done by month, it's done by quarter, annual, and there's a number of ways.
They would like to know, I think they'd be interested in
If they'd like,
hearing.
well, it's just like we supplied them with a report
Right.
and told them that as a
Just
consequence,
posting it on
towns,
that part of it.
so that they would know. Now,
Sitting like in the.
talking about stuff
chair.
adding to our volunteer work. So
Just
I'm
listening to them because
people on the
like they
committee.
dealt with some
And,
people like.
And that sort of, but I see a value in sharing.
One of them on their computer has got something they want to show, the rest of them I gotta activate,
Okay.
things like that.
There's, the public section of our meeting, nobody here,
So I think I missed a bit.
so I think we are, probably ready to set schedule for the next meeting in June. So let's try to set a schedule for the next meeting.
Okay, it sounds like they're winding up.
Yeah,
We're winding down, yes.
Yeah, we're about to adjourn
And,
it.
we're about, 1 minute away from adjourning. Okay?
No problem.
Thank you. Mike, what do you think? Next meeting.
I'm pretty flexible. January, I'm not going anywhere. We'll do it,
Did I take your phone? No.
so 17th or 24th. We do Wednesdays and
I think those are okay, but I can't find my cell phone. I was in that meeting room downstairs for a while. Sure, I had it. All right, what the,
so which one? Wednesday, 17th, 24th.
let's go 17th.
7 o'clock?
Yes.
Mhm.
May I have a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
I second. All in favor, aye. Dave, we're off at 8:32.